Boy didn't come home from sleepover. 1 year later, his friend admits this. The night was quiet, almost too quiet for a Friday. Street lights buzzed, flickering outside the Morris family home. Inside, the clock struck 11:47 p.m. Julia Morris glanced at her phone again, her fingers hovering over the screen. No new messages. Her son, Dylan, had gone to a sleepover at his best friend Leo's house. He was 10, cautious, bright, and never once late. But now it was nearly midnight, and she hadn't gotten the usual good night text. Something didn't feel right. She called Leo's mother, Elaine. The phone rang. Voicemail. Fin. Finally, a tired voice picked up. "Oh, Julia. I thought, didn't Dylan go home hours ago?" Julia froze. "What do you mean? I thought you came to pick him up earlier." "Around 6? Leo said he left with you." "I never came," Julia whispered. Her legs buckled. The police were called within the hour. Leo was questioned, gently, as officers crouched beside him in the living room. "I thought Dylan went with his mom," Leo repeated, eyes wide, voice flat. But something was off. His tone. The way he stared, not into the officers' eyes, but past them, like trying to remember something that wouldn't quite stay still. Search teams scoured the neighborhood. Helicopters combed the woods. Dogs sniffed every inch of the creek trail behind Leo's house. Nothing. Not a shoe, not a sock, not a single print. Dylan Morris vanished without a trace. Weeks passed. The months. Julia stopped working. She no longer opened the curtains. The house smelled of cold coffee and untouched dinners. Flyers turned yellow on telephone poles. The missing signs curled under rain. Occasionally, someone would claim they saw Dylan in a mall, at a highway rest stop, but it was never him. Leo, once her son's closest friend, never came by. His family moved 6 months after Dylan vanished. Too much attention, too many whispers at school. Julia stayed. Every night, she left the porch light on. 1 year later, to the day on Dylan's birthday, there was a knock at the door. It was Leo. He was taller now, quieter. He didn't smile. He stood with a crumpled brown paper bag clutched tightly in his hands. "I need to tell you something," he said. Julia sat across from him at the kitchen table, hands trembling. Leo didn't meet her gaze. "I lied," he said. The air seemed to stop moving. "That night, Dylan didn't leave at 6. We went to the treehouse behind the creek. We weren't supposed to, but we'd found something." "Something?" Leo nodded, then pulled something from the paper bag. A small, rusted music box. Covered in dirt, its edges worn down like it had been handled for generations. Faint carvings lined its surface, names scratched out, one visible. "TM. I found this near the creek." We opened it, and then Dylan started acting weird. Like, he didn't recognize me. Julia's heart pounded. "He walked into the woods. I followed him, but he kept saying something over and over. 'He wants me now.' I ran home." Tears fell from Leo's eyes. "I thought it was just a game. I thought he'd come back." Julia opened the music box. It didn't play music. It whispered. A low, crackling sound emerged, like a voice underwater. One word repeated, unintelligible, layered beneath static. She dropped it. The police reopened the case. Search parties returned to the creek. Julia went back to the treehouse. She hadn't been there in a year. It was untouched. But now she noticed something. A rope ladder beneath the platform, covered in leaves. She descended. Beneath the treehouse was a hatch. Old, rusted, bolted into the ground. When they pried it open, they found a tunnel, narrow and cold, leading into darkness. At the end was a room, carved from earth. Old toys. Prints. Scratches on the wall that looked like tally marks. And a shoe. Dylan's. On the wall, written in red chalk. "I'm still here." They brought in experts. Forensics. Anthropologists. No one could explain how the room had existed unnoticed for decades. Leo came again. This time, he brought his father. His father had grown up in the same house, same creek. And suddenly it clicked. Years ago, 1984, a boy named Thomas Maddox had vanished in that very neighborhood. Last seen near the same creek. His initials, TM. The music box had belonged to him. Theories spread that Thomas had been taken or trapped. That he tried to call out to others, to Dylan, through that box. But others whispered something else. That some part of him never left the underground room. That the music box passed his voice, his need, onto whoever opened it. The list of missing children near that creek stretched back decades. Leo had broken the silence. But something had already been passed along. 6 months later, a child disappeared 2 towns over. His name was Caleb. He'd told his parents he found a music box by the river. They never found him. But one morning, taped to a tree near the Morris home, Julia found a Polaroid. Dylan, standing in the woods, smiling. Behind him, a blurred face. A child, holding the music box.